and welcome into the Ultimate Florida Sports Show. I'm Ashley Gonzalez in for Chris Porter alongside Evan Closky. Evan, we meet again, my friend. How are ya?
Yes, we do. I'm doing well. It's nice to see you. Look, we got a great show this week. The SEC is going through big changes. The Rays hit the runway to raise money for a great cause. Plus, we talk Week 1 NFL games in the Ultimate Stakes segment. But first, I'm talking Bucks, and I'm really happy we're not the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show because, you're going to get a lot of that this week. Look, the team has locked down its 53-man roster. Only Trey Palmer was snagged off of waivers and is now with the New Orleans Saints. Here's an interesting nugget. Tampa Bay ranks number 1 in the NFL with homegrown players at 82.5%. Not only did all their draft picks from last year make the team, I'm counting David Walker, even though he's out for the season, but the team also added three undrafted free agents in the mix as well. That's on top of Rashad Wisdom, who was an undrafted free agent last year. The team needed to figure out its depth positions, but the roster was stacked day one walking into training camp. In a few years, the Bucks have gone from the team that everyone thought would win 4 games to the team that can make a run in the NFC. Todd Bowles doesn't want to hear anything other than his guys in that locker room.
We didn't pay any mind when they picked us to come in last. We're not going to pay any mind when they pick us to come in first. Thank you.
Okay.
That is what we like to call a mic drop, Ashley, at the podium. The biggest concern I have for this team are still at the linebacker position, simply not enough depth there, inside or outside.
Well, that being said, should still be an exciting year for Tampa Bay. Before we close the book on the preseason, Shiloh Sanders caused quite the stir nationally after his final performance in a Bucks uniform. Definitely caused the stir.
Yeah, tough way for Shiloh to go out. He was supposed to play most, if not all, the preseason finale against the Bills, and he ends up getting tossed in the second quarter for swinging on a Bills player. Shiloh never really had a shot to make the 53-man roster, but for many, the hope was he can sneak onto the practice squad. And as many of you know, sports fans know, it doesn't matter who instigates the fight. The fact is, the refs are almost always going to penalize the second guy, and Bowles had this to say after the contest.
Well, you know you can't throw punches in this league. I mean, that's inexcusable. They're going to get you every time. Got to grow from that.
Not quite sure what his next opportunities will be in the NFL, but Deion Sanders did say this week whether it's football or not football, Shiloh is going to be just fine. Don't worry about him. As for the Jags, Ashley, what's going on up there? Any notable guys that didn't make the cut?
Well, Evan, Jaguars waived 28 players, released 5 more, and waived 1 injured player. I'd say almost, if not all, players that you would expect to be on the 53 are there. Jaguars running back room is the deepest it's been in 2 seasons, with 4 notable studs to run through the openings. If anything, linebacker Chad Muma being waived might be the biggest name I would have heard that didn't make the 53. The Big Cats run game last season and the season before, booty. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I don't know, but that's the best comparison I have. Evan, don't come at me. So hopefully these changes do some good. I don't know, hopefully.
We're becoming the best version of the 2025 Jaguars at the right time. And I think that the physicality is something I want to point to, right? Because it's what we talked about in the offseason before our players and coaches ever got on the grass. And the mental portion of that, the toughness on both physical and mental elements is something that shined bright, I think, throughout the preseason in a couple different ways.
Now, what is exciting for Jaguars fans is a healthy Travis Hunter, who, by the way, is a father to a baby boy. Him and his wife posted this video on YouTube and let the world know they are parents. But, okay, talking about football, James Gladstone told media Travis will be playing both positions on Week 1 against the Panthers. So the brand new Papa will have to hit the NFL with a 1-2 punch. We really need the Jaguars to flip the script so we have fun covering them and the city can come back to life. Evan, is that too much to ask for, please?
Yeah. Look, I mean, we've had a charmed life here in Tampa for a little bit now, but there was a 10-year stretch where certainly we understand what you Jags fans are going through. All right, after announcing the 53-man roster, they made some changes to that receiver room, right?
They sure did. They added Tim Patrick, a former Detroit Lion, to that wide receiver room. For that, the Jaguars gave up a 6th-round selection in the 2026 draft. Patrick's been with the Ravens, 49ers, Broncos, and he was picked up from the Lions, like I said. He had 33 receptions for 394 yards and 3 touchdowns.
We talk about the idea of being mentally and physically tough, like I just pointed to, and I use the phrase intangibly rich a lot. I think anybody that does their homework on Tim Patrick understands that he's never had an easy path. He's always had to overcome obstacles. And the only thing that he communicated to us after this decision was made, that he's ready to earn every op that lies in front.
So he'll bring experience, Evan, but can he make those big plays when BTJ or Travis Hunter have double coverage, which is what we saw a lot of last season? So we'll have to see. We have some high expectations of this wide receiver room, Evan.
Yeah, and speaking of high expectations, the SEC dropped some big news that will force changes in the 2026 season. It's pretty remarkable. Each school will play 3 annual opponents focused on maintaining traditional rivalries. All schools will now face each other once every 2 seasons, and everyone has to play one non-conference Power 4 team or Notre Dame every year. I cannot love this decision anymore. There is so much wrong in college football, but having the SEC play another game against one another is only going to provide us better games in the future. The ACC is now the only Power 4 conference with an 8-game slate. And I would imagine that will change in due time, or else it will be used against them. With strength of schedule being used more in the metrics to determine playoff teams, the SEC will rightfully be given more benefit of the doubt at the end of the season. And now the league can go back to the Big Ten and say, all right, we went to 9 games. You wanted that. Now we want you to adopt our playoff seeding.
So the world of college football is constantly changing, Evan, and it's all for the fans. And rumor has it ESPN is set to give each school an additional $5 million or so for adding the 9th game, so that the games begin in 2026. And since we're talking about the SEC, let's talk about the Florida Gators. The fans will be excited. And last season's schedule was tough, but this season's schedule looks 5 times harder, Evan.
Yeah, Billy Napier isn't off the hot seat completely, but vibes are good right now in Gainesville. We're thinking they can do some things.
Well, when you look at the first 2 weeks of the season, the Gators have, in this order, LSU, Miami, Texas, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, and Georgia. Evan, that lineup alone makes me sweat for the Gators. Head coach Billy Napier says from the coaching staff to the players, every play on the field counts as the most important play of the season. And with that, he's holding everyone on that bench and field accountable.
You don't get the rep back. That, oftentimes we'll tell the staff, we're screwing the players, right? Because we weren't as prepared as we could be in that rep. We didn't recreate the game for the players, right? So I think those jobs are really, really important for the team. And it's important that the players take great pride in those roles, but it's also important for the staff to be well prepared.
So high expectations. I mean, most of these games have TBD next to them, and you know what that means. If the Gators don't do well, they probably won't get those primetime starts. And I am expecting them to have a winning season with at least 8 wins.
I think it's certainly possible, but man, they should probably be scared of USF after what they just did to Boise State. Now look, someone not having a winning season of the Tampa Bay Rays, Junior Caminero has been such a bright spot. At the time of this taping, he has 39 homers. He is just 8 away from breaking Carlos Pena's franchise record of 46. Also, with one more dinger, he would become the 4th player in Major League history to hit 40 home runs during his age 21 season. The other 3, Eddie Matthews, Mel Ott, and Ronald Acuna Jr. If the Rays do not extend this man at the end of the season, they'll never have a chance to sign him because he will just wait. He'll just take all the arbitration money, wait for free agency, and that's when he's going to enter the prime of his career. I cannot stress this enough. Hitters like him at his age do not come around often. New ownership would gain so much positive PR by just inking him to a long-term deal and signaling to the fans, hey, we mean business moving forward.
And as for the Miami Marlins, Evan, you told me about Tyler Phillips, and I'm excited to see this video with fresh eyes. I told you I wasn't going to watch it, and I haven't.
Yeah, and our production meeting, you said you did not see this, and I told you not to look it up. My man is known for slapping himself in the face before coming out to the mound. This is not a sustainable routine. This one is crispy right here. Oh, clean. Look, if he locks it down, hey. If it works, it works. Just don't get a concussion in the process.
No, literally, if it works, it works. But I Look, my parents worked very hard on this beautiful face, Evan. You will not catch me slapping my face and ruining perfection. That's what my mom says, rather. But I don't know. But if it works, it works.
Especially with the glasses, a whole other variable.
Exactly. So if I imagine doing that, I would just have a black eye. It wouldn't even be for the fun of it. But I don't know. If it works, it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
There we go. Look, we are going to take our first time out, but the Tampa Bay Rays strut their stuff for a great cause in this week's Heart of the Game.
But first, Keegan Bradley will not play in the Ryder Cup next month. Is better to be selfish or selfless? We'll discuss it in the Ultimate Rush.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. Unique quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
Welcome back. Time now for the Ultimate Rush. This is where we get to dig into some more topics affecting the Sunshine State and beyond.
The only catch is we have 60 seconds to make our point. I'm going to start us off with FSU great Big Dumper. Cal Raleigh did not only break Salvador Perez's home run record for a catcher, he absolutely smashed it with north of 50 bombs this season. He can get into the 60s with a big month of September. The crazy part is, in many betting books across the country, Aaron Judge is still the favorite to win the MVP. This is no shade to Judge. His impact on the Yankees is huge, and he's having an unbelievable year. But he's not a catcher. He's not a switch hitter. He's not hitting in a ballpark that severely depresses power. At last check, his WAR, wins above replacement statistic, is at 7.3. Only 7 catchers ever hit 9 in a season, and he could very well hit that. The Mariners entered the year with half the payroll of the Yankees, deeming Raleigh a more critical piece to the overall operations than Judge. The only real hiccup for Cal is that his average is 90 points less than Judge, but I think we progressed as a baseball society in thinking that average isn't the end-all, be-all descriptor for a hitter. In the end, Cal Raleigh deserves to be the 2025 AL MVP because when people look back at this year, they aren't going to think about Judge, they're going to think about Big Dumper.
Moving on to the world of tennis. Evan, since you went over your time, I'm lucky to be alive to witness Venus Williams taking the stage at the U.S. Open to play. Truly, she's a pioneer and trailblazer, and after a 16-month absence, she's back, baby. Even though forcing 3 sets during singles at the U.S. Open, she got her chance at doubles. And folks, at this point, it's a full blessing to see her on the court playing tennis. Evan, she's already one of the greatest tennis players of all time. She's a 7-time Grand Slam champion, 49-time singles champion, and 5-time Olympic medalist. I wish there was a mic that I can drop right now, like earlier in the show. Evan, this woman is 45 years old, the oldest player to compete in the U.S. Open since 1981. And she almost defeated the 11th ranked player in the world. Venus has always been in the shadows to Serena, but her career has probably not earned the respect it deserves. I tip the cap to Venus because it's rare we get to see these legends compete for as long as they do on the national stage.
100%. It's so crazy. She has the juice. As for the world of golf, for months, we have been wondering if Keegan Bradley was going to choose himself to play in the Ryder Cup. He would have been the first captain to play since Arnold Palmer in 1963, but Bradley said, quote, "I'm 100% certain this is the right choice," and decided not to choose himself. Here is the irony. Bradley was left off the Ryder Cup team 2 years ago. Because of that, he was named the captain this time around. However, if he would have been named to the team, he would have been named to the team if he was not the captain. You get the point here. I respect what he's doing, and I understand being captain and playing is really tough. But it's not like he didn't earn it. By him playing on the team, he would have been helping Team USA. That's the goal, to win. And I think the team is better with Bradley than without Bradley. The captain said the recent surge of Americans playing better are allowing him to feel good about taking a back seat. He said there was a time that he was going to choose himself, but I hope in the end Keegan leads Team USA to victory at Bethpage, and this whole period will leave a beautiful legacy for Bradley when he's done playing professionally.
All right, hey, I second that. Time now for the heart of the game. This is where we go above and beyond the X's and O's and spotlight a story that reminds all of us of why we love sports in the first place.
The Tampa Bay Rays players had a rare Saturday night off last week. Instead of making that a personal day, the team was giving back to the community with its annual Rays on the Runway event. It's a fashion show fundraiser supporting the Children's Dream Fund, a local nonprofit organization that makes dreams come true for seriously ill children living in West Central Florida. More than $400,000 were raised in the process.
This is the highlight of the season. You know, everything we do on the field is fantastic, but off the field, being able to come here, spend time with the kids, learn their life stories, and just see the smiles that they have on their face, and then ends up being the smiles that they put on our faces, and just have a great time.
It's impossible to show you everyone who walked down the runway, but these smiles on the kids' faces were priceless, and it's such a beautiful event to take a break from all the tough things these wonderful people are going through and to just have a night to live it up. It's amazing.
God, well, Evan, shout out to the Rays. That's just another example of separate worlds coming together in the name of sports. Great story there, Evan.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break again, but in the Ultimate Stakes, we talk week 1 of the NFL season and how we view the season opening games for the Bucs, Jags, and Dolphins.
This might sound strange, but I wasn't always a good dad. My kid needed to hear me say, I'm sorry.
See what you got. Oh, you gonna back me down? You gonna post me?
He knows I'm not perfect, but he knows I'm trying. That's why I choose to be a father first.
We are back for our Ultimate Stakes segment. This is where we take a look at the odds via the Hard Rock betting app and give you our thoughts on teams or games. It all depends on the week.
Now, this is just a reminder. This is for entertainment purposes only, so don't come after us unless you're spreading some love. All right, in no time, Jaguars will host the Carolina Panthers for week 1 of the season. Now, keep in mind the Jaguars weren't able to pick up a win in the preseason. I don't mean to be rude, but we're talking about the Panthers now. So right now, they're a 3-point favorite to win over the Panthers. Now, the Jaguars should start week 1 with a win. It'll be good for the soul, and it'll be a reminder of what winning feels like. But Lord, if anyone is going to lose a layup home game, it's unfortunately going to be the Jaguars. That's what history says, but okay, instead of being a negative Nancy, I'll be an optimistic Ashley. I don't know if that rhymes, but fingers crossed we're going 1-0 after week 1. Evan, what you got?
Personally, I got the Panthers as 3-point underdogs. I just think there's going to be a learning curve naturally for Liam Cohen. As for the Buccaneers and the Falcons, Tampa Bay is favored by 2, which is a lot of respect for Tampa Bay. Week 1 division game on the road and giving points to the home team, I think it's warranted. Not to mention Todd Bowles is usually great to start the year. Bowles is 8-3 in the first 4 games of the season as head coach. The Bucs haven't lost an opener since 2020. Tampa Bay has all the motivation in the world after losing twice to the Falcons last season. I love the Bucs defense this year to start off fast with more turnovers. I think the Bucs win by 7 in Atlanta. I would also lean towards the under in that one.
Well, that's a big week 1 matchup for sure. And okay, Evan, finally, the Dolphins. As far as Miami, this might be a tricky one. I say this because even though Coach Mike McDaniel said Tyreek Hill was able to get some work in after the preseason, he's still limited. McDaniel said Tyreek Hill is ready to go. Their top running back, though, is ready to go too, and that's good. All sounds good, but we just don't know what to expect until we see this team on the turf against the Colts.
Yeah, I'm picking the Dolphins on the road, 1.5 points, underdogs. All right, coming up, we're going to break down our final thoughts of the show, which for Ashley includes the biggest sport and pop news to drop lately, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Her last word after the break.
Discover the magic of a beautifully organized home during our Shades of Summer promotional event. Transform your space with vibrant, uplifting colors designed to boost your mood year-round. And enjoy savings up to 20% on our favorite summer-inspired finishes. Whether it's your garage, home office, or bedroom, California Closets Tampa Bay will create a stylish, expertly organized space just for you. Get started today by visiting one of our conveniently located showrooms or booking your complimentary design consultation at CaliforniaClosetstampaBay.com.
Time for the last word. This is where we're allowed to sound off on a topic. And Ashley, as the guest, you're going to be able to get the last word in. What's up?
Oh, thank goodness. Let's talk Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. For those who are rolling their eyes right now, I can see you through the screen. And that's okay, because this is for the girls. But okay, on the contrary, what makes this sports news is the fact that so many more eyeballs are tuning into football. And when you love sports as much as Evan and I do, you can't help but appreciate when any sport gets more love. And I think we can all admit more people, men and women, are tuning in. And dude, we're talking about one of the most famous superstar couples in the world. And I can't wait to see their love blossom because I love Evan. And hey, fun fact, the designer of the ring that Travis Kelce asked Taylor Swift to marry her with, that designer is from Neptune Beach, which is right here in our backyard in Jacksonville. She lives in New York now, but the queen is from here.
Wow. Thank you for joining us, Ashley. Chris back next week. That's the show. Have a good one.
Adios.